Just a couple quick remarks. I thought it was obviously a good team win. You get a punt return for a touchdown. That's significant. Felt we had a lot better plan offensively than the last time around. And it was a struggle, and it wasn't all just the players. Our game plan back in Denver was tough to watch the film. I think the time of possession was significant. I think it was 40-something to 20. Any questions?
You just talked about the efficiency in more detail of the offense. Clearly, your best efficiency day of the season, and your ability to just really control the pocket and tempo.
Yeah, look, I think the tricky part about that defense is there are times when you're in first down, they're in base defense, and you got to be careful if you're sending out, sub personnel. So a lot of the studies, we had a lot of heavy run checks in, and we ran it well from the the big personnel. So not so much, excuse me, from the subgroupings.
Along with that efficiency on offense, you had 3 scoring drives of 9 minutes or more, nearly 9 minutes. How important is that to train the defense?
We converted some third downs. Bo made some plays with his feet. Yeah, I think when you rush, I don't know what the numbers were, but you're able to control the game, and if you can't, then you end up in those longer yardages. Man. Go ahead.
R.J. Harvey had 23 touches. Were you pleased to see how well he did with that workhorse low?
Yeah, I thought both backs ran hard. Thought the guys up front played well. Thought we blocked the perimeter well, and then the play actions and some of the spread out formations, were efficient. So it was a good win.
Did you think, as you planned this time, did you think you could sort of control the tempo of the game with the?
Well, it wasn't about. It was just really looking closely at the run game plan, marrying it with the boots and nakeds, and then having some at the line stuff where we hurried it up. So it was a combination of those things. It was the antithesis of the last plan, and sometimes it's hard. You watch it, and our job's always to put our guys in the best position, and I don't know that we did a good enough. We didn't the last time around. Now we had a lot of penalties. We made a lot of mistakes, and so we kind of went a different route this time around.
Sean, that ability to self-scout, does that kind of inspire?
Well, it wasn't self-scout. You just put the film on. It's like, you ever had one of those articles? All right. But that's how the game plan felt. So, but that's the challenge with his defense, and he does a good job. We handled the pressure. We handled some of the movement stuff. It's good to have a drive to start the game, score a touchdown. We felt a lot more because look, when Pete comes on board, some of the defense changes, and so certainly playing him, we felt a lot more. I don't want to say prepared, but a lot more in touch with what to expect, when to expect it, and I think that helped.
Does that give you confidence for when you're going to play a team?
Well, I mean, look, each win is a step. There's a number of things we're going to go back and watch the tape and be upset about. Some silly penalties, some missed assignments, and so we got to get that stuff cleaned up.
One of your biggest plays were tackle breakers. Harvey on that third, and I think it was 3rd and 2 pass where it looked like he was down.
Yeah, that was significant.
And then Mims on the punt return, he had a guy.
So you're not giving Adam any credit for like the 38-yard belly play. That was a big play. You getting a hot dog on during that play?
I mean, could you just talk about,
It was tremendous balance by RJ on that play. And then I don't know what the numbers are, but when you score in special teams or you score on defense, you're over 80% winner. It was amazing because from my angle, which was pretty like right there, to see Mims come out of that, kind of that pile. That was a big play.
You talked at the beginning of the year about teams that are going to go on these stretch of runs and get in wins. To have that now in 10 games, can you just speak to the impressiveness of that?
Yeah, each one's different, and I always say this, pretty soon you can't even remember, when we start evaluating the wins, our team's done a good job of really focusing and playing for each other the next week, putting good work in, and they're well aware of, what they're playing for.
Sean, you mentioned Adam with this run. It seems like he's done just a little bit of everything.
He has, and man, with Nate's injury, and we think he's close to coming back, but he's done a really good job because Nate played in some of that role where he's at, and he had a really good game today because there's some contact in line with he and the linebackers, and the one thing about him is you know exactly what you're getting. You're never fooled, and his run fits, his blocking fits, all those things for a fullback. He played. I'm sure when we look at the film, he played well, and he'll be sort them all.
You guys had the punt early in the second quarter. You decided to punt and try to pin him deep rather than a long field goal.
Yeah.
That's feeling out the style of game.
Yeah, I'm just looking at where that ball's at, and I'm, tell me who the offense is. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not like an analytics thing. That's paying attention to who you're playing.
Sean, what do you think of just the defensive effort in pass rush?
I thought good. I thought, look, man, the number one thing is making them one-dimensional. We gave up a couple. We busted a coverage and gave up another easy touchdown pass. Those will be things we want to clean up. We're going to play a much better offense here in a week.
Sean, is he likely to pass to 11 different receivers today? How do you think he's
11? Yeah, it's good. 11 different.
different? How'd you feel that he was seeing the field?
I'm trying to count 11 skill guys in my head.
The only one who didn't get one was the Mercedes.
Yeah, and he needs one more. What were you going to say?
It seemed like Bo played a little bit more under center the past couple games.
Well,
A little bit.
we knew today was going to be. Just because, again, those early downs, if we got caught with a certain personnel grouping against their base, we scattered into something. And so we kind of had this list of plays that we'd scatter to. And Bo handled that well. But it was going to be a little bit more of an under center game.
So that's more situational.
Opponent driven.
Sean, those that, I guess, a stretch of 3 good games, do they kind of build on each other? Or is it
I think, look, with a quarterback in his second year, it's each week, growth, and there's certain things that might happen where the next time it's corrected. There's certain things each week that takes place, and that his job is to lead his team to the end zone and to win, and he's something. He's tough to sack, and his off schedule accuracy is really good. So yeah, I think it's it comes with playing.
You're 11-2, and New England's 11-2. You got the tiebreaker. Officially, scoreboard watching season here with 4 games.
We're focused on the next game, really. So we're not. I mean, everyone goes home and pays attention to who wins and loses, but our focus as a team is Green Bay. The next game.
Coach, you and Pete Carroll have done a lot of winning in your careers. Pete's first season in Las Vegas hasn't gone as he expected, but what do you admire and respect about him?
Well, he's a great teacher. I've always felt like we've had a good relationship in this industry. Man, he's always had an approach with his team they've always played tremendous defense. And I would say more than anything, his energy, you know. Yeah, he's won a lot of games, and he's a tremendous teacher. And it's not an accident in college, in the NFL, wherever he's been. And so I have a ton of respect for him.
Has it felt any differently facing up against Pete Carroll when it's for a rival, like division rival team this season?
Yeah, division means something to me. Rivalries are in college. We just had rivalry weekend. Division games are different. You know, they used to say that about Atlanta or whatever. I mean, the division thing is about who's on top, you know, and so everyone's chasing Kansas City. They've won the division, so it's hard to have 4 or 3 rivalry games. That's just my opinion.
RJ, him kind of rounding into a 3-down back. You mentioned, we haven't seen anything yet.
It's just there's things that we see. It's hard but yeah, he's got really good contact balance, and Jaleel, really stepped in, had some good plays. So we had the ball a long time. The week ago it was the other way around. Defensively we had defended a number of snaps. Last question.
You guys loved RJ's vision coming out. How much of him sort of maximizing that at this level?
Well, and look, and I said this, we drafted the runner. And I mean, like what we saw from him as a runner, and then we saw enough his senior year as a receiver that we felt, but it was like the opposite with Kamara. When we drafted Kamara, we drafted the receiving threat, and then it was like, wow, we saw something different when we handed it to him as well. And with RJ, we drafted the runner first. And when you see him, you guys have spent time with him. He's quiet, but he's put together. He's short, but he's put together well. And so he's grown up quick, because of the injury to J.K. You go ahead.
Still ended up being a one-score game, but this one, did it feel like more dominant?
I don't know. I think when you're not like in the 2-minute trying to come back and win, it felt a little nicer. It was a dumb penalty by us with the delay. We're going to run the clock out, and that wasn't real smart. So I'm sure I'll watch the tape. There'll be things that will be frustrated watching. I think I say this, there's been a lot of winning, but there's still a lot of things that when you watch the tape that you really need to clean up. And then the mistake sometimes is that can get overlooked. And then there are times when you lose a game, there's some things you do really well. And so I think, we'll go back to work again. We're on a normal week schedule. Yeah, but it did not feel like maybe some of these other ones recently, to answer your question. My headset was off earlier. All right, thank you.